In this video, I'm going to show you some of the best practices for rate adjustment. So I'm going to open a test reservation and let's go in and look at some of the rates. I know many of you are used to just doing a charge and a discount down in this bottom, and while that will get the right balance, from a bookkeeping perspective, it doesn't provide probably the best method of doing it. So as of CampWorks 3.11, we've added a couple new features to help you better adjust rates. So first of all, I'm going to click on this down arrow underneath the rental space charges section, and that opens up the rental space charges grid so that we have a few different options. We now have an adjust rate button, we have custom charges button. So let's decide we wanted to add a custom charge in for this guest. This feature has been around for a while, but there's been one change to that, and that is it now allows negatives. Some of this auto-populates that didn't before, but you can put in a negative rate. So let's say we wanted to do a $10 adjustment. I'm not going to call it a discount. Let's say for some reason you just needed this rate to be different for this person and you didn't want to call it a discount. You don't want it to show on discount reports. You want it to show as the actual rate was just lower for this person. So we're going to do a rate adjustment, and let's just say it was for one day rate adjustment, and we'll just put per Keith $10 or per Keith adjustment. You can click if any of these others apply, taxable or not, but this will basically take a minus $10 line on this. We hit OK. Now this $10 line is in the rate period or the rate section, which again will report as a lower rate than for this site in reports when we look at, say, the accounting summary. Instead of it showing up under here under the bottom section, if you normally did a standard charge discount, it would show up as a miscellaneous charge. So this just gives a better option for reporting. Another option, if that's one option, is to do a custom charge. Another one is to use the rate adjustment feature, and this can be up to your management how to do it. It's very similar, other than it puts a fixed title in called rate adjustment. And the nice thing about that is if you leave that on edit, do not edit that, then that rate adjustment category will show up on reports, and so they'll always know that that line item has to do with rate adjustments. And so let's do, this time we'll do a positive. Let's say we did a positive rate adjustment, and just leave that, hit OK. And now we have this rate adjustment qualifier line that is showing on here as well. So just a couple different features that I wanted to show you that are now inclusive of 3.11 that will help you to deal with rate changes and set up for various rates. While we're working on rate adjustments, we'll show you another feature that has been in CampWorks for quite a while, but just to make sure everyone is aware of it, you can delete an item, or you can do some things like locking rates. So here's another best practice. If there's a miscalculation, something just isn't calculating right and you're struggling to fix it, you can delete those items. So let's say I want to delete an item. I hit delete item. It'll remove it. My balance then corrected. And if you ever want to keep CampWorks from auto recalculating, you can use the lock rate feature. And so then you can use custom charges, but CampWorks will not calculate its own rates. So let's say I click on lock rates. Now when I try to do an extension or make some sort of change, it won't calculate a new rate. And that's in some cases it's done, you don't want any changes, you can click that button. So if I hit save, notice it tells me that, hey, rates were locked, and so it did not recalculate the rates. If I want it to recalculate, I could unlock that. I can then hit save and have it recalculate the rate. So just a couple other features that we want to make sure everyone is aware of relative to that section. Also, one thing with 3.11, anytime we used to hit save, it would always recalculate the rates. Now, save will not always change the rates. It will only adjust rates, and it will ask you first if you want to recalculate the rates if there was a change that affected it, such as number of adults, number of children, changing dates, etc. And then you'll get the message that you just saw, like if I change the date one more day and I hit save, it asks, changes have been made to the reservation that could affect rates. Do you want to recalculate the rates? In most cases you'll say yes, but occasionally there's a need to not recalculate, and then you would hit no, and you may want to lock the rates if you permanently do not want change. So I'll hit yes, and it makes that change. One last feature that I'll mention in this section of the video is the recalculate button. If for any reason CampWorks is not calculating rates the way you think it should, you can use the recalculate button to have it basically recalculate it from scratch, just like it's a brand new reservation. So you can hit the recalculate button. You have to have a code to do that, and it will then recalculate. In this case, there weren't any changes. We still have the custom rate that's in here. It will not adjust or take out those custom rates, but it will recalculate, basically delete the charges that were in there and then put in, recalculate again like it's a brand new reservation, and put the charges in. So again, in this particular instance there was nothing to change, so it didn't do anything, but another tool that you can use to try to fix things if the calculations aren't coming out the way you think they should.